Okay, we are back. We are going to figure out who the fuck the killer is. Night falls. Unlike the other victims, Haru is out of school, but still ends up being killed. He probably thought that he would be safer if he wasn't confined to curfew. Oh no, you, you don't think that. You don't think he went to look for the killer. There's no proof of that. I wouldn't say that. It's easy enough to stay safe in public. 24-hour fast food restaurants with CCTVs, public hospitals, even the police department for crying out loud. The killer might know the school security system like the back of his hand, but he can't control all of Isamu. And Haru didn't seem like the stupid type. Just so. Coincidence? Probably not. Good boy. But if that's the case, why wouldn't he tell anyone his suspicions? You tell me. Because he didn't have any. He was just gonna tail the first guy who left the school. And on that note, why didn't he notify the police that he was gonna take such a risky action? Why wouldn't he notify the police? Why wouldn't he indeed? This is what you want me to feel. Correction, this is what you want you to feel. Because I have to understand what Haru is thinking. You only don't understand Haru. You only don't understand what Haru because you're dissing yourself too much. It's time to get real, kid. Check that phone of yours. Check my phone? I stumble out of my concentration in a disoriented mess. Oh, fuck. I'm still in the subway, which is now completely empty. How long have I been thinking? I appear on the abandoned platform. Nothing but the soft flickering of dim lights. Well, I guess it makes sense. This isn't exactly a major station. A dull vibration in the pocket of my pants redirects my attention. Ah, that's right. My phone must have been vibrating all this time. From Shigure, probably, to lure me someplace or other. Or some teacher to warn me on my absence. Maybe even a friend who's wondering where I've been. It's probably it was vibrating from the moment I entered the subway. Vibrating insistently. Commotion. I tend to shut it out whenever I'm overwhelmed, distancing myself from the reality, as Mr. Royota would call it. Childhood trauma, learned behavior, coping mechanism. One moment, the world is there, and the next, it's just me alone with the figureheads inside my brain. A caricature of Mr. Royota to help me think better. Or a caricature of Rui to stabilize my emotions. Some extremes haven't been necessary for years. After all, what excitement happens in high school? Gossip, relationships, bullying? But now, I'm distant. I feel it in myself. Something hollow, cold, something that, apparently, couldn't even notice the vibrations on my own phone. Well, guess I'll eventually notice. I humor myself and scroll through the notifications. Daily mundane life I expect. Stop fucking buzzing! Son of a bitch, stop! Sarge, hate to disturb your 1,000-year slumber, but have you seen your destined princess? Dude, have you seen Rui? Oh shit. Is Rui with you? Rui, am I after school? Respond ASAP. Rui is missing? Oh shit, PS. I didn't even realize it, but my fingers weaken, and my phone slides to the spaces between my knuckles and turns end over end. Clatters to the ground, the shrill impact of fine glass against concrete echoing down the hall, utterly abandoning passage in which I sit. Rui, missing. Rui is missing. It starts out as a disappearance, 3 times, a disappearance from school, a mysterious vanishing after a logged curfew. No one can find them, no one can contact them. Phones are tracked and found in garbage disposals. CCTV footage turns up corrupted or deleted or loot. Then the bodies are found, peeled, sliced, ripped apart, the mutilated remains of what was once a human being. What if one of those bodies, one of those victims, someone who gave trouble rendering screams that only went unheard? Terrible. Was Rui. Waking up in the cold dark, greeted by a pale, croaking voice, saying nothing but the sheen of a blade in the moonlight, something that saws through flesh. I force a shaky breath through my lungs as my chest constricts. The world pulses. Rui is the next victim. An afternoon disappearance, another break in the pattern. One more shaky breath, my vision spins. Rui is with the killer, with someone whose mask is perfect, who disappears without a trace, who eludes the police without effort, like everything is just a game. Someone who isn't caught by an army of highly trained officers of law enforcement. Someone whom I could never dream of catching. Rui is gonna die, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just a 17-year-old kid hiding in a subway like a homeless beggar, a refugee from police custody. Rui's smile, her teasing, her nagging, gone. Just like that. Another figure who entered my life, only to leave me, violently ripped away before her time. Another person who deserved to live so much longer. Pull yourself together! Oh. Moping around, Elizabeth question mark. Moping around doesn't help anyone. If you want to be useful, then be useful. Lizzie. Figured I'd see you. You like to challenge me. Guess this time wouldn't be any different. If things aren't hopeless, what amazing advice do you have for me? This comes almost mockingly. A crushing weight has filled the space that was once empty and shock. I have nothing left but sarcasm and cynicism. In response, Elizabeth's image flickers to Mr. Ryota. There's still a key that you haven't remembered about Haru's case. A key? Recall it. How did you stumble on the killer in the first place? Haru sent me a location ping. Only after the sentence spilled out with too much ease, I realized its irregularity. Haru sent me a location ping? We're not even close. Not only that, but there was barely any time between the location ping and his death. So somehow, in his last moments, just before he died, he decided to send a location ping to me? I haven't really racked my brain for an answer. What, would Haru really do that? Would he really put the fate of his life on me? I scanned through the flowcharts of known ways people socialize in my head, but it turns up blank. My brain is freezing. I can't see beyond the mental image of stumbling on Rui's body, cold and bloody, mouth open in the last remnants of a scream. No, Haru, location ping. Why would he send it? Why would blood tear the crushing force of water? No, stop, must think. I forced all the habits from extensive therapy sessions into practice. Deep breaths, tail spin, tall spine, tense all muscles, and relax slowly from top to bottom. Her life is at stake. Rui could die any minute. Maybe she already has. Or maybe she's cramped up in whatever sick place the psycho has, waiting and dreading the moment when nothing will be on her mind but excruciating pain. Damn it! Mr. Ryota bleeds into Elizabeth, flickers for a moment, then bleeds into Misaki. Yama, I can't do this anymore, Mickey. Please, just leave me alone. I know this is hard, but right now, you're the one with the best chance of finding the killer. Because of this damn phone. You know what? Fine. I can't handle this on my own. I'm giving it to the police. Won't they just arrest you? Yeah, but they'll find out that I'm not the real killer. But they have to trust your word that someone else put that phone in your apartment rather than you taking it from Haru himself. It could take days, maybe weeks to clear the situation, even if you are eventually found innocent. And by that time, Rui will be dead. Mickey, please help me. Rui, don't you love Rui? She needs us. In that case, do you remember whether someone sent you an out-of-place location ping? I've received and sent so many damn location pings to keep track of. Maybe you can narrow it down? Or maybe you can start using your head. Before Haru Benyu, was there anyone else who accidentally sent you a location ping? Actually, now that she mentions it, I remember something. Yes, a location ping from Mickey? Did we arrange something? I don't recall any recent conversations with her. Mickey? Yeah, it was. You, actually. You sent me a location ping by accident. You mistapped because my name was right under... Wait, mistapped? Because my name and his name are right next to each other. Yahiko Ikari? When I think about it, everything fits too well. Yahiko Ikari, he started the Happy Club and is connected with 3 recent deaths. Akane, Soji, Haru, and before that he also knew Midori and Toma. And he would know a lot about the Academy's security and technology, maybe even more than the average faculty member, being the son of higher-ups at Linsuke. And I've seen how in the blink of an eye he can shift from joy to depression, almost as if he's been perfect control over how he wants his emotions to be seen. But he would know about the phone. And he knows me, knows the code to my apartment, knows my schedule, knows my actions, and my reactions. And he was there. At the murder of Haru, Yahiko Ikari was there. He had coincidentally run into me, seems flabbergasted that I was there, and so kindly offered to cover for me. Yahiko Ikari, my former roommate, my friend. Well, isn't this just so damn typical? The serial killer can't just be some random chump off the street. No, he has to be someone close to me. But as my fury intensifies, as black anger, nausea, everything solidifies, the blood in my body, Misaki's image fizzles into Masato. What kind of friend are you, man? You know it ain't, Yahiko. You've known him for 2 years. I spit bitterly. Yeah, give me some proof. I'd love to believe it. For starters, you got no proof that some big shot organization just hacked out your log. Or maybe it might be tough to break for one person, but it ain't even a sneeze for a team of pros. So you're saying the serial killer could actually be an organization, and they decided to frame me when I caught one of their members killing Haru in District 6? Well, yeah, something like that. Then something doesn't make sense. If the killer or organization, whatever, wasn't close to me, it's weird that if an organization was behind the framing me, then Haru's phone shouldn't be in my apartment. Why not? Because accessing it, they shouldn't have been able to. I mean, damn it, my mind is completely hit a wall. Didn't I just say they could have hacked it? You did. No, I can't get stuck now. I have to force my way through. Think of a different reason, some other reason. I'm still alive? It's weird because I'm still alive. Why wouldn't they just kill me? Witness to the crime out by myself in District 6. They wanted to frame you, man. Framing someone who's alive is a whole lot more than framing someone who's dead, especially if he can't really defend himself. But that's the thing. How could they know that I couldn't defend myself? Huh? The only person who could possibly know that my lapses are ones who are close to me, really close. Rui, Misaki for sure, maybe even you and Yahiko. Which means that the killer could be only been one of those 4 people. It can't be Rui, it can't be Misaki, and well, I'm pretty sure it can't be you either. But you don't think that way about Yahiko? You want me to list the evidence alphabetically or chronologically? I can't believe it, but Yahiko actually fits. Let me ask you one more thing, man. Do you really think Yahiko's a serial killer? I just told you that. Do you really believe that, like you believe the sun will rise every morning and I'll badger you and track every day that Yahiko's the man? No. I don't. I honestly don't. Everything goes against him, but for some reason I just can't imagine that Yahiko would be the serial killer. But isn't that shallow-minded? Isn't that foolish? Couldn't my reluctance lead to Rui's death? Right then. Masato's image fizzles into Akira, who jabs an energetic finger in my direction. What's with his freaking background? Righto, cheerio. Time to think of from another angle. We got ourselves some tricks up our metaphorical sleeve, Sarge, so don't give up yet. Yeah, no offense, but you're not exactly the person I want for logical thinking. Oh, but what you need and what you want are 2 completely different things, like dying versus not dying. Well, what do you suggest? Well, you have a suspect now, right? Don't flip the turtles out before you've proven whether he's guilty or innocent. That's like counting your chickens before the avian flu strikes and wipes them all out off the face of the planet. So find proof of Yahiko's innocence? Easier said than done. Much easier said than done. Oh, I wouldn't say that, Sarge. You've got some things stewing in that brain of yours. Such as... Akira suddenly morphs into Misaki. Don't you remember how the killer forgot about the phone's wall charging feature? Yeah. Yahiko loves technology as much as I do. Not to mention that his parents work at Limscape. If he were the killer, do you really think he would have forgotten something so simple? That's, well, right. But by itself, that's pretty weak. Misaki fizzles out, allowing Elizabeth to take center stage. And think, what does Haru's misstep really imply? Remember, in his panicked last moments, he was trying to send a location ping to Yahiko, but his fingers slipped on you instead. Oh, of course. Why didn't I see that before? Haru was trying to send a location ping to Yahiko to get help. Haru wanted to let Yahiko know he was in danger. If Yahiko saw that he was in District 6, well, I think that even Yahiko would know that something was wrong. Correct. Also, Haru must have eventually been able to get a signal through, because he showed up, even if it was after me. Not only that, but he had already called the police. I'm trying to help you, dude. You have to get out of here now. Why would I? Go! Leave! Which means that your entire basis for suspecting Yahiko Ikari is now null and void. And a little part of me relaxes before I realize that this doesn't actually solve anything. Rui's gone, and I'm nowhere closer to discovering the killer than I was before I started thinking. Rui's still in danger. I'm still a runaway convict. The serial killer is still running amok, having his little grim parties. Is there nothing I can do? Nothing? Wait one moment. Think. Why did Haru not notify the police before it began tailing the killer? Like me, he's incapable. He's a capable individual. We don't just miss such things. Why indeed? Why wouldn't Haru have requested backup? Or at least given an anonymous tip? He doesn't want to. He didn't alert the police because he didn't trust them? Didn't trust them? Why? A personal traumatic encounter? Previous difficulties dealing with law enforcement? Or could it be something else? Could it be that Haru saw something in the police, something that he never could forget? You know him more than I do. What's your opinion on the matter? He was my errand boy. You claim to be good at reading people. Are you saying that you misread the suspect? I am not wrong. Then you agree that Yama Ishimoto is a prime suspect. I agree. Could have Reuben seen corruption? Why is it that a student was the first one to think of camping outside the school and tailing the serial killer? Why is it the investigation force didn't even go through the school, scouring the area for any evidence on the killer? Why is it that no city CCTV ever turned up with any results? What if all this time I'm sitting behind the curtain watching us dance? The police was just there laughing, watching us run in fear as they pretend that they're trying to protect us. And that would mean Haru died for nothing. Yahiko called for nothing. And now Rui will disappear. Will be shredded into pieces. Will be left to rot for nothing. And there's nothing, not one damn thing, that I can do. Catch the killer, find the evidence, package him up, and ship him to the police department, and he'll just walk free because it's all part of the plan. Or worse yet, they won't even catch him. They'll have him surrounded, and he'll miraculously break free, and they'll give chase like a bunch of fools. And Rui will die for nothing. Rui, with her fiery passion, and her love, and her endless enthusiasm for her dear ones, will pass into the fate of nihilism, where there is no intrinsic value, no purpose, no beneficial weight to her sacrifice for me. She'll be remembered, maybe by a memorial for victims who were the targets of a horrifying serial killer who will, maybe one day, be brought to justice. That would be her only identity, a murder victim, a girl who had her whole life ahead of her, one more poor soul in the annals of injustice. No one would know her smile or her little quips or the way she bit her lip when she was nervous about something. No, the name Rui Hayato would only bring nods of pity and despondent sighs, as if she's really lucky, fuel for a movement for treatment of mental illness or weapon control or some political objective. And then, as days pass on, as time becomes months and years and decades, she'll be forgotten forever, drowned out in the names of other victims who will be remembered with nothing but nods of pity and despondent sighs. Nothing but non-existence. Eri suddenly appears and stares at me with such intensity that I swear she's almost real. Do not lose focus. Her image blurs at the edges, rounding out, hair turning orange, and... Gosh, you're a wreck. What happened? Over my mouth, a feeble, unintelligible noise bleeds out. You try too much, Yama. That's the problem. You want to do everything, but everything becomes so overwhelming that you end up doing nothing. You can only do what you can. The rest is out of your hands. I can only do what I can. Yeah, and right now, all you can do is figure out who the killer is. You're up for that much, right? So, you're stuck because you think the killer has to be you, me, Yahiko, Masato, right? I guess. My voice becomes very small. I squash the temptation to reach out and touch her jacket, her hair, anything. Because right now, she's not real. Right now, she might even be. Are you paying attention? No. Wow, I think I finally know what it's like to be one of your teachers. I cough out a cross between a chuckle and a snort. It's so close to reality, but it's not. Then, all-knowing teacher, what do you have to say? Well, your passcode is literally so stupid that anyone who saw it just once could get in. But that's not the problem. The problem is that the killer knows about my lapses. No, wait. There's something strikingly familiar about what she said. Didn't she mention this before? Didn't she say something like this before? There's something vitally important about that statement. Your passcodes is literally so stupid that anyone who saw it just once could get in. What sticks out so much? Just once. Just once. She's been talking about someone who was seeing my passcode just once. Someone who commented how stupid it was. Please, your passcode is the stupidest possible code to exist on the planet. Even Mr. Ryota pointed out how stupid it was. Jiro Ryota, a man who helped me move into my apartment, who commented how stupid the code was, who certainly would have remembered it. A man who knew all the victims because they each were fighting psychological problems, and he was the school counselor. A man who would know the security of the school inside and out, and he would not be up to date with the latest features of smartphones, like a wall charger. A man who was strong enough to inflict the same wounds as a serial killer, smart enough to outmaneuver the police, controlled enough to fake sanity in the day. A man who, after curfew, is free from his duties. And a man who would approach me after seeing me at Haru's murder site, surprised I didn't seem to remember what happened. A man who would certainly be curious at my unusual reaction. A man who could access the confidential school records and learn about my lapses from there. A man who I trusted. Trusted too much. Why? It's not you. There's something I must have missed. A proof. A theory. Anything. Why? Why did it have to be you? You damn old geezer. Why would you even... Why? Nothing but silence. The silence of finality. Of a door that's been opened and can never be closed. Fuck. All tension leaves my body. I can vaguely feel myself slumping on the subway bench, neck uncomfortably stretched to accommodate the weight of my head. Mr. Ryota, my mentor, my friend, and the serial killer. You're really different today, Yama. What's bothering you? Back then, I should have seen it. Because why hadn't anyone else noticed? Why was Mr. Ryota the only one who thought something had happened that night? Who, me? Nah, I'm pretty much a free bird after I verified curfew. I had my suspicions. I'd known that there was something odd about him. But I didn't want there to be. I wanted to wave it away. I wanted to trust Mr. Ryota. I wanted just one person who would understand everything and stay on my side. Well then, there's no explicit rule saying I can't use confidential databases. I'm pretty sure there is. Nope, I may be faculty, but I'm not a teacher. It only stated that teachers have to request special permission. I checked the loopholes. Right, do you know how the entire entry student application to the academy requests a psychological analysis by a qualified physician, yes? Yeah, and another security measure, isn't it? Let me read this and see what you think. He knew about my lapses, not because I told him, but because he had access to the psychological overviews of each student. He would have known each of the victims. Maybe they were assigned to his counseling care, just like I was. Ah, I hate computers. But we'd all be dead without them. You know, what was great? My desktop iPair. Man, that was great. Stable, awesome, and a killer whirl of the fan. You guys don't know how satisfying it is to hear your computer work to keep itself cool. That's kind of weird. No casual user has desktops anymore. Oh, and Akion phones. Man, phones these days break if you breathe them wrong. Akion phones, they could probably survive a nuclear blast. Ah, there we go. Finally working. And he knew about computers, not an avid follower of electronics. Not enough to know about weed, but enough to know about phone batteries. Indeed, instead of detention, the teacher is convinced that I need a more permanent solution. Like death? I can help you with that. So how's the apartment? Still in one piece, mostly. Good here. And Phil? Phil? The little houseplant, the one I placed on your shelf? Your memory sucks more than mine, kid. Wow, how do you have this much free time? Life as a dorm manager is just swell, isn't it? Like die-cut pieces of a complex puzzle, all the facts and memories line up in perfect succession. The killer is Mr. Ryota. Now I know with certainty. Intrinsically, like I know I can sit on a chair and it'll support my weight, or I can walk under a bridge and it will not fall on top of me. I just don't know what to do next. Shouldn't there be a sense of triumph? A miniature party in the back of my head, giving me a cookie for sex and finding out the killer? Something keeps me something keeping me going, something propelling me to the next step. I know the identity of the killer. Shouldn't I report this? But to whom? I'm on the run from the police, who may or may not be corrupt. I can hardly show my face at school, and if I call Mr. Royota, well, that simply wouldn't do anything. For the most part, it feels like I should just give up. There's nothing further to head to. No way out of the conundrum I've worked myself into. The situation requires me to be clever, more clever than I can be. I want to think myself out, find some magical solution, but sometimes it's just not there, reaching into an empty bag and expecting handfuls of gold. Then, is this it? Ah, someone's calling me. Maybe I'll pick it up. In the end, I'll hear the cold, dead voice of Rui's parents, saying quietly that Rui has been found, but as a bleeding, mutilated lump of flesh and bone. Maybe I'll drop my phone, and this time it'll shatter completely, crushed to pieces like the fragments of sanity stringing me together. Or maybe it'll be a tracking call from Limscape, a bid for the police that I'll be stupid enough to pick up. The phone number's unknown. The risk? High. If I answer it, and it is from the police, I'll be caught in the blink of an eye. Rui will die. Royota will be free. But if I don't, what then? I'll be left alone to fend for myself, and somehow, I'll have to extract Rui safely, and catch Royota, and somehow stay alive. Is it even possible, or do I need help no matter how much I despise it? Fuck! Don't answer! No, there's too much risk. I'm not in a position where I can trust some random stranger. I stuff my phone back in my pocket and ignore its angry pulses. But even so, don't I need to come up with some kind of alternate plan? Wasting away in an underground tunnel won't do anything, for me or for anyone else. But what can I do? I can't talk to anyone, and I highly doubt that anyone would take an anonymous tip seriously, especially at this hour in the morning. Being a wanted man definitely seems to limit my options. And my phone rings again. That's it. I'm about to turn my phone off entirely, but the name that pops up stops me cold. Oh shit. Jiro Royota. Just the man I've been thinking about. At this hour in the morning, why would he be contacting me? I haven't talked to anyone since I learned about his true identity. You shouldn't know. Nobody should know. My curiosity trumps my caution. I pick up the call, holding the phone gingerly between my fingers. Hello? Hey, kid. Hearing his voice makes me freeze. This voice that comforted me, guided me, made me laugh in the end. It left me, just like everything else. I quickly shake myself, trying to master my words. Hey, Mr. Royota. I know that it's like some crazy hour or something. Crazy hour or another, but I was wondering if we can meet up. I have something important to tell you. It has to do with, your lapses. Is that it, really? That really it? No, it can't be. Just like all the other victims, he's setting a trap. He must be. Just like every other mentally damaged student that he's counseled. Mr. Ryota, it's too early for this. I know, kid, I'm sorry, but the police. He lets it hang ambiguously in the air, but I'm not fooled. Sorry, maybe another time? You sure? It's really important. Maybe tomorrow or something. I let my voice drop off, feigning sleepiness, but Ryota still for a long, long moment. I see. Trying to play dumb with me, boy? His voice has dropped to a lower, colder register that I've never heard from him before. I almost dropped the phone, a bolt of panic lancing straight through my chest. He knows? How could he? I'm not deaf, I can hear your voice just fine. You know what, it's screaming distrust. You trust me about as much as you finish your homework, don't you, boy? The Yama I know, well, he'd be mumbling and grumbling, but he'd be dragging his ass over here. Why? Because more than being lazy, he's insatiably curious. This Yama, well, he didn't even ask for a hint. A bit out of character, don't you think? My fingers tighten on the phone, until they start to pulse with pain. There's nothing for me to fall back on, but I have to tough this one out. Ryota's dangerous. I can't let him win. Who knows? So, boy, no more playing dumb. How much do you know? I know you're the murderer. That's a pretty good start. Hey, murderer, that's such a harsh term. I like to call myself an artist, with an E. He chuckles again, but this time it comes off with a pinch of shrillness that wasn't there before. My foreboding only skyrockets. What kind of insanity has he been hiding? So, now what? Quite simply, the fun begins. Come to my playboy. I've been setting the stage. Talk normally. You've done it before. Oh, the false bravado of a man in love. I know it well. Did I really sound like that? I wonder. It's so terribly stupid. Are you going to answer my question, or are you going to wax more poetry? Poetry is by far more interesting option, don't you think? Only for people with too much time on their hands. And that is the eternal problem, boy, for both of us. We each have too much time on our hands. Far, far too much. Doesn't life just get so dull, every hour passing drearily, like a never-ending group project, where all you want is to murder your classmates? That's what life is. How do you ease your boredom, I wonder? Television? Social media? No, you do neither. Sleep? Thanks, Shakespeare, but I think my life is my own business. I look forward to stripping that sense of righteous anger within you and replacing it with terror. I look forward to you trying. Ha! I love the ones that fight back. It just makes their descent well. All the more satisfying. Before I can respond, he plows on, his voice gradually rising in pitch. Now, let's set the stage, shall we? I thought you were taking care of that. Oh, don't worry. I'll be taking care of all the props. Do you hear me, boy? Don't bring any extra props. The thought never crossed my mind. Leave your phone at the entrance. I'll see if you try to smuggle something into the theater. Understood? Is that it? Not quite. Why are you so hasty to end the call? Am I boring you? Sure, let's go with that. Then I'll get straight to the point. There's a brief moment of silence, punctuated only by the faint tones of Royota punching numbers into his phone. Then I can hear his voice. Yama, don't you dare do anything stupid. Nothing hits me, but it's all like all the breath has been sucked out of my lungs. Really? Stay there, don't come. I wordlessly open and close my mouth, desperately searching for words. My mind only runs blank. I'm sure you're already aware of this, but right now, I'm the master of Rui's fate, so you might want to stay on my good side. This is how it's going to happen. You'll come to the back of the school, you know, the garbage truck route. You're going to dump all your toys, then I'll let you in. How? There's no entrance. Why is that you all say the same thing? Boring. Where there's a will, boy, there's a way. So that's it then? Ah, well, actually, I feel like I should tell you this, just out of kindness of my heart. Rui won't be there, for insurance purposes. I'm sure you'll understand. My fingers clamp in a death grip on my phone. What do you mean, Rui won't be there? Hush, child. Why are you so impatient? Right now, Rui is in the safe hands of a third party, so long as you listen to my words. So, we meet up, have a little chat, and I let Rui go. Everyone gets their happy ending except the police who, well, you know, they don't do anything anyway. A beautiful arrangement, no? Speak now or forever hold your peace. I grind my teeth and force a long, slow breath. If I go, I won't be able to see Rui with my own eyes. She could be anywhere. But am I really in a position to make demands? No, I can't predict this new Royota. I have no power, no trump card. If I push too much, he'll make the situation even worse. I'll just have to make the most of it. The back of the school, then? I'll give you 15 minutes. I'm coming from the subway station. Then you better run. Ta-ta! Fucker. And that's the last thing he says before hanging up. Okay. I best save. It's getting late and I have to work tomorrow. But if I fucked up, then at least I have the last save point, and I can try to salvage what's left. We shall see. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!